Hello, welcome to another Thursday's Travel Talk with Travel Time. We've been delighted to bring these valuable sessions throughout the last year and a half or so to bring you information that would help you to determine what you want at the top of your bucket list when you're ready to travel again. We know that time is different for everybody, and we're seeing some people who are ready to travel now, more who want to wait until 2022. But we're here for when you're ready, and we'll be able to recommend the best options and help you with that process to get those travel thing dreams happening again for you. Today, I'm delighted to be joined by one of our partners in the cruise industry, Kim Lucy. Kim is with Viking Cruises, and welcome to Kim.
Thank you, and thank you for the invitation to join your guests.
This is going to be a very exciting thing. Obviously, you are aware that I've just returned from my first cruise experience post-pandemic, and that was a Viking Ocean cruise, and it was a superb experience. I can't say enough about it. It was fantastic, just to feel back into the travel mode again, and to feel that it could be done so safely. It was truly refreshing. It was a great experience, and thanks to you and all the team on board who have been able to deliver that experience in such a professional way.
Thank you for those compliments. We're super excited to be able to have guests back on board our ships, and to be able to make sure that they can sail safely and feel comfortable traveling again.
Yes.
I know it's a little bit trepidatious to set off on that first trip, but I know that we're working our best to keep everybody safe on board.
I do understand that, and that's what we're hearing from clients as well. Like, everybody wants to travel. There is no travelers on our database that never want to travel again, for sure. But when that time will be right for everybody is different. People have different situations, but thankfully, the vaccines give us a level of confidence there. And certainly with partners such as yourself and all of the care and concern that goes into making that a very safe encounter for our clients is very much appreciated. So I know you have some great images to show us of the ship that we're going to talk about. But first of all, I'd just like to say that, the whole process, from the booking process to the testing prior to travel to the testing that was done on board, made the whole experience very much stress-free, and certainly not one that I think anybody would have any reservations with. And so much so that I'm barely home from that cruise, and I'm looking at the itinerary center for 2022, and I'd like to do a different one.
I know, I'm with you. I'm going on my first river cruise in about 6 weeks, and it's the same for me. It's my very first trip in about a year and a half, and I'm a little bit trepidatious, but I'm also very excited. I'm anxious to get back on and see what it's like and what it feels like to actually get back out there and travel again.
I totally understand that, because the first time I traveled since the pandemic, it was not for vacation. It was for family reasons that I felt I needed to do. And I can't say that I wasn't a little bit nervous. The whole process of, what is it? How is it different from what we are used to and what we've experienced in the past? And until you've actually done it and you realize that there are safety measures in place, and within reasonable, within reason, everything is being taken care of. And certainly on board the ship, there was no doubt about that. But I mean, even the whole travel process, there's a lot more hoops to pass through. And that's one of the things that when we have clients going anywhere these days, the regulations into different places, even to get on a cruise, can be different. So that's some of the things. Obviously, a client takes their own responsibility for that, but we're here to help. And certainly with the amount of questions that we're getting from our clients, we know that we're needed and appreciated,
Absolutely.
which is a really good feeling after all these months of, people not going places, and then all of a sudden having all those questions that they do need answers to.
Yeah, I think travel professionals like you provide an incredibly important service. And I think, as you mentioned, I think people are realizing just how valuable that expertise is now, especially after the past year and a half.
We feel appreciated by our clients for all the work that's been done over the last months, but we're happy to, be sending people travel documents and say, have a great trip. Like that's what we're about. It's not about making changes or cancellations to vacation plans. We're interested in people having those vacations that create those memories that you can't duplicate any other way. And that's what we're used to experiencing ourselves. And that's what we like for our clients as well.
Well, good. Well, I know you do a great job.
Well, I'd like to get right to some of those ships and some of those images, because I was on, and again, I mispronounced the Viking, the Viking ship. It's all stars and
Planets.
planets, yes. And I'm not a planets expert by any means, so that's a hard one. But the ship was absolutely stunning, and I understand, just to go back to some of the history. Viking has been doing river cruises for quite some time, and I'm sure all our listeners are aware and have seen, the advertising and, some of the images that have been floating out around there even long before the pandemic. So, these ocean-going ships, I understand, started in 2015, so some people, it takes a few years for people to catch up on the new and exciting and what's happening. So it's not surprising if some people listening to us today are not aware that Viking has a great presence in the ocean-going vessels. And what's even better than that is that they are true luxury vessels, small ships with 930 passengers. Like, that is the sweet spot for sure. Yeah. So you're not on board with 5,000 of your closest friends, or even 3,000 of your closest friends. That smaller ship feel certainly brings with it a feeling of luxury.
Yeah, I think that's been my experience as well. I often say to people, it's luxury without attitude, because you can relax, and you're dealing with staff that is there to really make your journey fantastic, but it's not overly ostentatious, I guess. You really can relax and be comfortable. The guests that travel with us they're travelers, they're adventurers at heart, they're explorers. They want to learn and be educated and immerse themselves in the destination. And I think that's one of the things that I've enjoyed the most about my ocean cruise experience with Viking. And I've done it several times just on my own personal vacation. I love to talk to our guests because they are interesting. They're well read. They're well traveled. They're curious about where you've been, so that they can add more things to their bucket list. It's a very engaged clientele, and I think that's what we're looking for too when we're traveling, right?
And the design of those ships, like, that was one of the comments that we made, and multiple times throughout the week, is that they're purpose built and they're purpose designed. Everything has a purpose. Like, it's a very Scandinavian design, very clean, very sleek lines, but airy and spacious, lots of glass, open spaces, lots of outside areas as well. And it's just everything, the staterooms were so well appointed. Obviously they're not large, but when you have everything designed in a way to give you a place for everything, it all works very well.
Yeah, it does. And it's that little attention to detail, I think, that many people like you have pointed out to us as well. It's that there are enough plugs in the rooms, that they're in the proper places, that when you go in, for example, into the public bathrooms, you've got birds and music playing. It's, those are the things that were really surprising to me, that just added that little sense of comfort and hominess, but on the other hand, created some elegance to it. It's not fussy. And as I felt when I stepped on board, it's like I can take a deep breath and I can start my vacation right away. Where sometimes I get on ships and I feel that it takes me a couple of days to figure out where everything is. And there's just so much going on that trying to figure out where I should be at what time is one of those challenges. Whereas with Viking, we have a real focus on education. We have great lectures on board. We have got resident historians. And you've got that sort of sense of calm and sereneness, with beautiful art and beautiful photography throughout, little surprise art installations that I still, even though I've sailed a number of times, still find. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know that was there. And isn't that Isn't that beautiful? But it's that sense of, I think, comfort and elegance that I've really enjoyed.
Yeah, and you've said it perfectly well to what our experience was. And that the whole service, even though the ship we were sailing on wasn't full, it was 2/3 of the number that can normally be accommodated. But often it felt like there was nobody there. So, even if it was full capacity with 930 passengers, I can't imagine that it would have made that much difference. There was never a lineup, for the
No.
buffets or any of the services that were on board. Never. And even in any of the public areas, that wonderful little coffee shop with the cappuccinos.
I love that.
Would love to have one of those again today. But there was never a wait. Like you walk up and they just had everything figured out as far as the timing, and the space that they had to serve in was very well done and tastefully done for sure. And just giving you that little bit of a feeling of, like you said, not a stuffy luxury, but a feeling of upscale. And who wouldn't like that for their vacation?
Yeah.
Even somebody who thinks that they're not a luxury client, I guarantee that you would like that on your vacation.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. I always do. And yeah, the way the ships are designed, and I have sailed when the ships have been full, and I have never felt crowded. I've never had to, find myself in a line in a corridor where there's a lot of people. I've never had to wait in any of the restaurants, even our more casual dining restaurant, which is called the World Cafe. I've never had to wait in line to be served. It's just different. There's so much space. With a ship that's just under 50,000 tons and 930 guests, the space per passenger is quite significant. And you really can find little places where you can tuck away if you want to read a book or you just want to enjoy the view, where you're not surrounded by people and you're not being, you don't have loud music or a lot of activity. And I think when I talk about being able to just take a deep breath and feel like I'm really on my vacation, those are the things that contribute to it. It's that space.
Even
it's
at the
all
pool.
the windows. Yeah,
even at the pool, that was true. Like I like to read a book, and the ultimate relaxation by the pool is if you actually doze off and have a nap in the afternoon. Not like a regular work day for sure. But you could easily do that. It wasn't loud. It wasn't like loud music. It was very conducive to that serenity and just relaxation, even in those public spaces.
Yeah, and that's what our clients ask for, and we're very in tune with that. We took a river cruise experience that we were well known for and had won lots of awards, and we had translated that onto the ocean ships. And we did that because we saw that there was a little bit of a hole in the industry where there wasn't really anybody that was being able to include some of the things that we did in a price point that people could afford. And with us, we include a shore excursion in each port of call. The beer, wine, and soft drinks are included with lunch and dinner. We include the coffees, the bottled water, the Wi-Fi, all of that's included. And for a lot of guests, if you've sailed on bigger ships or more contemporary brands and even premium brands, those have been extra costs once you get on board. And what I loved is that I never had to take my wallet out. If I wanted to prepay my gratuities before I left, I can do that. If I want to, add a beverage package, if I feel like I'm going to want to drink a little bit more during the day. But what I found with us is that, and maybe what makes us a bit different from some of the other cruise lines, is that we're all about the destination experience. We want our guests to be in that port of call, truly immerse in it as much as we can. So in a lot of our destinations, we stay overnight in ports of call. We also will spend anywhere from 10 to 11 and a half hours a day in the port of call, and we dock right in the center of the city. So you can come and go very much like you do on a river ship. You're not in a big port facility with a transfer that either has to get you from the ship through the port facility or into the center of the city because the ships are a little bit too big to be in those central locations.
That's a huge benefit of being on a smaller ship.
Yeah. And Yeah, so those are the things that I have fallen in love with. And you and I have talked before. I've been in the industry for 35 years, and I spent 20 of my years working for larger ocean cruise lines. And when I first went on a river cruise, I completely fell in love with it. And then when they brought in these ocean ships, it was love at first sight, because it was the perfect experience that I was craving when I was going on a cruise.
Yes, and that's a good point. The smaller ship experience certainly adds a lot, and the love at first sight for the Viking Ocean, I certainly can identify with that one as well. I know you have some pictures, and
Yeah.
one of the things that I also love about this is that the ships are all the same build. So they're all sister ships, right?
Yes, they're identical, and they do give you that opportunity to see, um, to feel comfortable the minute you get there. I'm just going to go back. There's the first picture. Um,
Okay.
it makes you, no matter where you go, you can go from one ship to the other. You can walk on and feel like you're at home uh, immediately. You're not having to figure out if this ship is a little bit different in configuration and where everything is. You'll just feel like you walk on and it feels like you're coming home. And you can see here this beautiful ship. They're small. They really look like ships. I find that sometimes big ships now have got they've got so many cool things to do and play. But they're looking less like a ship and more like a floating hotel. And I'm an old traditionalist. I love my ship to have that sleek bow, and that is another thing that contributes to our sort of interest in the environment as well. These ships are built with hybrid engines, solar panels, green technology, all the latest environmental equipment that's required, and that I don't know if you can see at the very back, Lois, and maybe you saw this, but there's kind of like a little platform, and it looks like a sports platform that you see on some of the smaller yacht style ships, but
Mhm.
actually it's not. What it's designed to do is it actually reduces our fuel consumption by 22%. It's kind of
Wow.
like a spoiler on a car. So we were talking about detail and attention to detail, and these are the things that have been thought through. Here you can see the beautiful central lobby area. We call it the atrium. It's 3 stories, and that video wall you probably experience that changes every few minutes with art and photography,
Mhm.
destination, and the areas throughout the ship are built with sort of engagement in mind, small conversation areas, music that's not so loud that you can't have a conversation with your companion or new people, and beautiful music that plays. We've got guest artists that come on and play at different times. We do. I don't know if you got a chance to see this when you were there, but we work with the Monk Museum out of Norway. We have a Viking heritage and Norwegian heritage. So we have that affiliation. And during the cocktail hour, we won a digital retrospective of Edvard Munch's beautiful paintings. So as I mentioned, it's kind of an educational experience, even when you're relaxing.
Mhm. There was a lot of great musicians on board, and there was live music in so many different areas every day. And I
Mhm.
love the fact that each of the ships are the same. So I love my experience on the ship that I was just on.
Mhm.
But it's really good to know that if there's an itinerary that I like and it's on a different ship, I will have the same ship experience.
Exactly. And here, I bet you spent some time here. This is our
I
Explorers Lounge with its 180-degree outdoor promenade that overlooks the bow of the ship. And then we have 2 stories. I don't know if I have another photograph. No, I don't. It goes up to a second level again with that wraparound windows and that beautiful view. And then
Mhm.
this is the Winter Garden. Did you go here and have
And we had
high tea?
afternoon tea there twice, 2 different days, which was absolutely beautiful.
I know it's one of my favorite places to just kind of read my book. I love high tea in the afternoon. And it's also just nearby is a really great burger bar. So I often will stop for a burger at lunch, and you can sit in and around this area. And then we have this amazing infinity pool. I'm sure you're in Bermuda, you had a chance to
Mhm.
spend a little time here. We always say that you can swim right in your destination. because you can actually look out from the back. It really is a beautiful spot for relaxing. And this is something else that I really love about these ships is the fact that there is so much outdoor space and people are spread out. So it's not that feeling of being in a sardine can that I sometimes experience with big ships. And you don't have, there's enough space for everybody. There are sofas and coffee table kind of outdoor furniture. There are high top sort of cocktail tables. And then you've got lots of these lovely deck chairs that are both covered and uncovered. So depending on what you want, but you're not going to feel like you're stuck so close together that it's difficult to get out of your chair. And I think these are things that people really start to appreciate with smaller ship cruising. And then of course the spa, you were telling me about your spa experience.
Yes, beautiful.
And this is complimentary, right? You can go in and use all these facilities and it's not like you have to pay extra to go in and sit in the hot pool or the sauna or the steam. These are all open to our guests from about 8 a.m. till 10 o'clock at night. Right now, you do have to make reservations for some of the facilities, but that's just so that we can keep everybody safe. And it's a beautiful, very calming, lovely spa facility. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, I think you enjoyed the dining room. And
the food was absolutely fantastic in all of the dining venues.
And did you? Superb. And when you were on board, were you there when did they have these windows open? This is that really unique feature to our ships is that we've created as much alfresco dining as we possibly can. And this includes our main restaurant. Those windows you see are open onto a promenade deck and they slide open. And I've been board when they've had them open and it's such a wonderful experience. It's kind of like sitting in a very cool cafe and you've got the fresh air that can blow in on you. And this is our main restaurant with a really nice changing menu every day that focuses on the port of call. So you can try some of the local cuisine, but you can also have a changing menu with a vegetarian entree, fish, meat, as well as a variety of appetizers and desserts. And then we always have our always available, which is like things like steak, Caesar salad, chicken, salmon. So if you want a little bit more traditional fare, that's available for you as well. And then did you get a chance to try Manfredi's, the Italian restaurant? I love this restaurant.
That was absolutely fantastic. We've really enjoyed that.
Yeah. Did you try the steak Florentine? Or
yes.
I know you have to bring a friend for that, right? It's so big.
Yeah.
But it's probably the most delicious steak I've ever had. And I'm an Alberta girl where steaks are king. And it's just so beautifully seasoned. And then the pasta was amazing as well. It's all homemade. It's great fun. So this is an alternate restaurant, again, with no charges. And then we have the chef's table. You were telling me you enjoyed this, but the menu was a little bit avant-garde. And this changes. We change this every 2 to 3 days. Yes. So we have a variety of menus and they are pairing menus with wine. So some of them are a little bit
different. It was different, but it was a unique experience.
Yeah. It's often the case with a restaurant that does a chef's tasting menu that sometimes it's not always entirely to your taste, but it is an adventure. And that's what I always enjoy. And then this is my favorite place. I don't know if you got a chance to try Momsen's. This is in our Explorers Lounge, and it's just sort of a casual Scandinavian deli. And all of the recipes are from our owner's mom's recipe book. And you can see a picture of her in the back. He used to call her Momsen, which is mom for Norwegian, I guess, in Norwegian. But her recipe, I don't know if you can see, just beyond those plates, there's some cakes, and one of them is covered in toasted almonds, but it is the most decadent cake I've ever had. It's called the Success Cake, and I will walk stairs for 3 days so I can have a piece of that cake. And I'm not even a cake person, but it is, you can have a casual breakfast, lunch. We do afternoon tea with the wonderful cakes. We have waffles from Norway. And we also do a great lentil soup as a late night snack. I don't know if you had time to try that or not. And then did you spend some time in the World Cafe
Oh,
This is
yes.
such a lovely alfresco area where you can dine outside. It's near the infinity pool at the back of the ship. And
Hmm.
again, I love the fact that there's so much outdoor dining space, not necessarily kind of cloistered around the pool areas. It's there are places where you can go and just enjoy the scenery, and it's so pretty. And
Hmm.
then I thought I'd just share a picture of one of our staterooms so that you can see. This is a standard stateroom, and it's probably similar to the one you had,
Yes.
Lois, isn't it?
Yep.
Maybe you want to tell everybody a little bit about what you found here.
Yeah. The everything was so well appointed in the stateroom, like the seating area, the desk. That's one of the things I find with even hotel rooms these days is not all of them have a desk. And maybe I'm a bit unique that I still get back to my clients even when I'm on a cruise like this.
Yeah,
So having a
me
little
too.
bit of workspace is a really good thing. The bathroom was probably one of the best appointed bathrooms I've ever been in on a cruise ship. Just it wasn't a huge bathroom, but the way everything was laid out, it had
Yeah,
a space for everything. So that was it was a
yeah.
very comfy space to
And
live in for a week.
you were in a hot spot, so maybe you didn't realize that the floors are heated.
Yeah,
And I
I
know
didn't
when
need
I
to turn
travel,
those on, but I could see that it would be a
yeah,
very
oh,
good feature if you're doing
so nice.
some northern itineraries.
Yeah, it really is nice. And all of the amenities are lovely as well. Now the beds can be split. We do have safes and refrigerators. We have mini bars. All of that is there on the step out veranda. So it is a lovely, lovely accommodation. And of course, this is our standard stateroom. This
Mhm.
is and they get larger from here with more space, more window space, and you can move around. So it's really lovely. So that's kind of the pictures I put together for ocean. I did put some river ones together, but I don't know what our timing is like. It's up to you. I can stop sharing now and we can continue our conversation, or I can still
You can,
show those
yeah, show a
photos.
few pictures of the river ships. And
Okay.
I know one of the things that impressed me in our conversation that we had is that all of the things, all of the normal protocols that we experienced here on this ocean ship are all in place for the river ships as well, which is impressive.
Yeah, so you can go from product to product. And we're also bringing in two expedition ships and a ship that's going to be on the Mississippi River coming in the middle of July. And so, whether you're on a river, ocean, and it doesn't matter where you go in the world with Viking, whether it's Egypt or Vietnam or Russia, or you're going to find the same kind of experience, the same look, the same configuration as often as we can do it. So, here are our river ships. These are identical ships again. They travel along the rivers of Europe. We have some slightly smaller ones in some of the markets like Portugal and along the Elbe River, where the rivers are a little bit smaller. So they're 90 guests. These are just under 190 guests right now. Obviously, they're not. And all of the things you talked about, you were talking about health and safety protocols. I don't want to come back to that, but we do have PCR labs on our ocean ships. So we're doing daily testing with all of our guests. It's non-invasive saliva testing, and we've got contact tracing and all of that. But we're doing the same thing on the river ships. We don't have the labs on board, but we do have the same company that we work with on board the ocean ships doing the testing on land, and their labs are all across. So this is one of our ships sailing along the river. Here again, you can see that sort of wide open space, that floor to ceiling windows, 2-story atrium. There's a beautiful skylight here. And what I love again is that I feel like the destination is wrapped around me. It doesn't matter what time of the year it is to sail. I love to go in December when the Christmas markets are active. But of course, like Canada, it gets darker earlier. But you
Mhm.
still have that sense of that beautiful destination wrapped around you. So you can see the natural wood and the stone that we have throughout. Here's if you turned around from where those ladies were coming down the stairs, this is what you would see. This is our information desk. And again, you can see the nice appointments, the artwork, the beautiful fresh flowers. And then our dining room has big floor to ceiling windows. We've spaced these out a little bit more right now. I'm actually going to be sailing on one of these ships in about 6 weeks, as I mentioned, and I'm anxious to see. But we've just kind of spaced things out. We always had quite a lot of space, but we've spaced this out a little bit more. But again, what makes these ships unique in the river market is that they are 3 full levels, and our dining room is on the central or the middle deck, which is at street level. A lot of the other river ships have their dining rooms on the lower levels, so you're sometimes docked, and your window is up against the wall. And this is one of the things that they really, again, that attention to detail in terms of what we know our guests want. And here we have the lounge, which is kind of fun. This is kind of the central meeting place. We do our lectures here. We have a dance floor. It's not a big one, but we do have some music, and we do have lots of people who like to dance, including I've been known to spend a few minutes or hours out there having some fun. And then again, just adjacent, you've got these big floor-to-ceiling windows as part of the lounge, and it goes out onto this lovely bow deck called the Aquavit Terrace. And here it connects also with our more casual dining area, and you can have casual breakfast, lunch, or a grilled dinner at night. And I don't know about you, but this is one of my favorite places to sit. I've often sat in those rocking chairs with a glass of wine as the sun was going down, or a cup of coffee early in the morning. It's just so relaxing, and there's no obstruction. Again, something a little bit more unique on the river ships than some of our competitors. And again, you see here that similar decor. This is one of our staterooms with the floor-to-ceiling windows. This is a French balcony. We do have full step-out verandas similar to the ones you saw. I mean, the verandas are a little bit smaller, of course, but similar to the ones you saw in the ocean. This happens to be a French balcony with just the sliding glass door. But again, you can see it's a similar feel and appointments to what we have to offer. So I think that gives you kind of an idea of what we've got on both of the products, and it'll give you a chance to see some of this. I don't know if I turned you off. Did I turn you off?
No, you turned off the
I turned off the share. Good.
Fine. So yeah, that both of those options look like incredible choices for vacations. And I love the consistency across the brands and across the ships. That takes, we have to know a lot of information these days to pass on to our clients. So knowing a product and knowing the ship is a lot easier when we know that there is consistency, and we have a a level of confidence in that for the brand. So that goes a long way as far as being able to give people confidence on what their experience would be like.
Good.
I can say that my week on board the Viking Ocean ship was a showstopper. It was a very beautiful ship, but the service and the whole experience, and maybe it's a little bit like a honeymoon period after not traveling, but I can tell you that I'm very anxious to travel again on one of your ships for sure.
Oh, we'd love to have you back.
We have a whole lot of cruise clients, and I know some listening to this are in our Great Cruise Finds cruise group on Facebook, where we put lots of hints and tips and special deals and things like that. So if you're listening and you're not in that group, that is the place to be if you're interested in cruising. It's Great Cruise Finds. If you type that in on Facebook, you can find it and you can request to join. But often we come across exclusive deals. Being part of Virtuoso, there is some additional benefits sometimes to booking with an agency such as ours. And anything that we know, we like to pass on to our clients so that you are in the know as well and can take advantage of anything that is a superb offer or sailing or itinerary. There's lots of different reasons why people pick certain dates or certain times. And obviously you only have, I think it's 5 ships right now with more coming. Is that right?
We actually have 8 ships, 8 ocean ships. And we've got 10 under construction. So we'll have another 2 coming. Oh, and wow. I know they've got contracts out for another, I think I heard another 10. I know the dream was to have 20 ocean ships. Okay. So who knows? Our owner dreams big.
So the thing being, if somebody has a date that's open to them for travel, but a certain part of the world and a certain type of ship, sometimes one of the things we run in when we're doing research for our client is that, the type of ship they want is not doing that itinerary in those dates, or, it can be so many different things that are limiting. But I like the consistency of the ship. So if there is an itinerary and dates, we know that ship experience is one we can depend on. And hopefully we won't need those health and safety protocols forever. But right now, I certainly have lots of faith in what the Viking Ocean cruise experience was like for us, with the daily testing, the contact tracing, and all of those kinds of things that were in place and totally seamless, did not detract from the experience one bit. They actually added to it for us, because you felt, the safety was there and built in, and everybody was given due diligence to everything that they should be considering. So that was really good.
Yeah.
So Kim, this has been a great informative session. I really thank you for your time and joining us today on the Thursday Travel Talk. And I expect our clients that get to watch this on the replay as well will learn a whole lot, such as we have in recent times with information that you've shared. So I want to thank you for that. And if anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out to any of us at Travel Time. If it's something we don't know, Kim will know for us, and we can go to her and ask. And certainly we can research for any of their itineraries for the dates that you would like. We do know that people's comfort level with travel will return at different times, and we totally understand and appreciate that. I know for myself, I've traveled now, I've done a cruise, and I have traveled, with flights a number of times, and I'm okay with the protocols that are in place. Not everybody is in that space just yet, and that will come for different people, different times. So we're here, and we're keeping up to date and bringing you information sessions throughout, and we're more than ready to help you when the time is right for you. Planning ahead is going to be necessary, because a lot of people's trips have been moved from 2020 to 2021, and now some people have moved again to 2022. So if it's in your bucket list and your desire to travel in 2022, I would say the time is now. Would you think that's a good assessment?
Absolutely. Yes, because we've actually opened space all the way up into 2024, simply because our space is filling up. And again, that's maybe the disadvantage of smaller ships. There's not as much space, but a space to book. But on the other hand, it gives you more space to enjoy.
And people want that experience, like especially returning to cruising. I know for me personally, that gave me a lot of confidence to know I was going on a ship that was maximum 930 passengers and that it would not be a full sailing. Mm-hmm. That is the kind of experience that we like to have first when we're still building back that level of confidence with safety and protocols and so on. So that is a great information session. I really appreciate your time, and thank you so much. And for everybody, thank you for joining, and hope this has been informative. Please leave your comments or send us a message, and we'd be happy to get back to you and look at any of the details that you have in mind for travel. Thanks again. Have a great day.
Thank you.